Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic and this is another reaction to Nisemonogatari episode 7. As always, you know what to do to watch the reaction itself. Go down into my descriptions, follow the link there, remove the circumflex dot parts and replace them with real dots. And you can see the reaction. Once you've done, come here, over here to this video and yeah, hear me out about what I thought. So I will see you soon. Until then. For those that came back, welcome back. I really am struggling with getting all of the ideas and concepts of this series. It's really hard. Mainly here, I don't get the thing about Aragi's sister being fake, you know, but we will talk about that. Let's go through the episode one by one. It was nice. It was a very good one. I once again can only say I really love the design, the work with colors and everything. They really did that. I think it was since episode 1 already, and I realized it again and again in very many episodes. So his sister calls him a kiss freak. I'm not sure why that is, but we will see. Maybe it's one of those foreshadowings. Maybe it's just a mist. And they had this, I mean, I can only guess this was his way of remembering this fight, or of seeing this fight, which was a big fight and a tough one, you know, like with bleeding and all. But I really hope they did not destroy half of the city, because they ruined those streets completely. It's interesting that she didn't hold back at all. She thought after the first kick, which was not used to be, was not meant to be outside of any dojo, that he would be shattered on the ground, so that he wouldn't stand up again. And so she was surprised when he did, because, as we know, he's way more sturdy now. And then they went in full mode, like, and it was the one thing that I realized, it was always her attacking and he was never hitting her. She was hitting him all the time and he was just taking it, you know, and standing up again and again. So he is not willing to punch her, which makes sense, because he can absorb damage, he can live with it, but if he would punch back, we don't know what happens with his vampiric strength. He might break her. And so in many ways that was kind of a sacrifice there. So he was just playing the game of, she will be exhausted somewhen and then I will get her to do what I want. So good one. Interesting is that he talks about her as the biggest pervert he knows. And I mean, coming from Araragi, that is something. We had, well, I think we will see someone in the future, the past time, when he got his little vampire girl. And he said now, why didn't you say that when you were a grown-up woman? So it is this, what I already guessed, that the female we have seen in some of these visions of his memories, the tall blonde woman was the vampire, which is now the little girl. And she said level 1 is petting head, level 2 is touching breasts. So okay, there we go again. Let's go into creep mode. And I can understand that he's upset about that, especially thus she's a little girl now, and he completely forbid her to interfere in the fight. So he was very well aware if she would be giving her strength or joining in, that would be bad for Karen. So as I said, he's kind of defending his sister while she punches him into a pulp. Yeah, and then we had this, as I said, I'm not sure about the concept of this talk. So it was about that the Fire Sisters as allies of justice, or as they say now, justice itself, are helping others, and he calls them fake because they do this like a game, but are not doing something for themselves or out of their very own belief. I'm not sure about that. I really don't get this concept, what he's talking about. Kaiki in the talk later on even mentioned that he shouldn't shrug off this wanting to help of his sisters so easily. And I think that's important that he said that. As I said, I'm not sure about that one. However, that's a big thing from the sisters towards him, that he, in their opinion, kind of looks down on them. That he's acting as though they are kids, which they still are a little bit, you know. But that he calls them fakes, that that it is just a game, while they think it is something important. And he has this nice sentence: "I hate you, I hate you too, but I'm proud of you." Well, you're proud of your little sister, no question there. The "I hate you," I'm not sure either. I think it is this kind of brotherly hate. This yeah, I hate her, you know. Not really. It's a kind of love. However, he got her to give up by talking to her in the end, you know, by talking to her about what is going on, that he's proud of her, and then she kind of gave up, and he will have the talk with Kaiki. He will do what is needed, and as far as I could read in the very short interlude, he carried her home then. So I guess the fight, although it was very, very huge in the end, was a big fight between the two of them, but not this big that they shattered down the city, because you can't tell me that there wouldn't be like police or anyone interfering. So it is a bit overplayed. But I liked it because it showed this side of him willing to be beaten by his sister and not fighting directly back, because he is watching out not to hurt them. Yeah. So, and then we had the meeting with Kaiki, and now that was partially surprising, and partially it was very fitting, because he did not set up any fight. He did not stand up for what he did, like trying to defend it, or tried to put curses on them or whatever, what I guess might be happening. But instead he was just like, okay, I will go now, and I will apologize and whatever. At the beginning, the first things, Monisa said, I will do everything you wanted, before they even asked for it. Like, I will give even the money back, and I will apologize. But he did it in a way that you were like, yeah, really, you know? It's like someone who did something bad and gets caught, and he's like, oh, I am so sorry. You know he's lying, and he's even sarcastic about it. So it was clear that when they would agree and would leave, then he would, either just go on or just leave and not do any of the things he said. So he wouldn't have given the money back or anything. He even said that he burns through money very fast, and thus he wouldn't even be able to give money back. So if he wants to give back some money to someone, he would have to scam other people for this money. So my idea from last time to make him like pay things to make him owe money wouldn't help, because he would be just spurred on to do more scams in the future. So they didn't believe it, especially Senjougaharas didn't believe it. She was the one talking most of the time here, and in the end they kind of agreed with that he will just leave the city. That's it. His the fire bee is just, it's just working because you believe in it. So he stated that this fire bee never really existed, and the one that wrote it made it up. Not sure about that one, however. I see the option that it does exist and he just removed this burden because he doesn't want to have Aragi and his little vampire girl on his back. So that's one thing. However, he is, yeah, well, as he says, he's a fake in like everything he does. But I thought, what if this fire bee effect is like hypnotism? So that's how Karen would have got it. Question is, how would have Aragi Koyomi got the fire bee effect on himself? Although we haven't seen anything of the effect on him. So it might really be that it is just like hypnotism and they lowered the hypnotism effect. I know, I mean, vampire are known for having like hypnotic stares as well, so might be working. So either it was hypnotism from Kaiki, it was a real fire bee effect, and he just removes it, or it really was that if you believe in it, then it is happening. The placebo effect in the end, just the other way around. Not sure here. What I find interesting about Kaiki whatsoever is the fact that he's not standing up for what he did at all. He's like, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did it for the money. You perceive it as bad, so I will just leave. So he's not like fighting at all. And I think the question is he really without power? Because I am not sure about that one. He is not willing to go against the two of them, which is okay. I really don't know. He might be really powerful and he just is not willing to do anything, as he said in the past. Do I get money for it? No, then I don't do anything. And in this case here it is as well. He's possibly like weighing what is worth what. So if I fight against Aragi as example, I will not get money for it. How much will I earn in the future by scamming the kids? It is already known now. There are more and more people coming in trying to stop me. I should just leave. So it's possibly more like the there's no more money to be made here. So that's why he's leaving. I'm not sure if he is really powerless. At least with his abilities are very strange. No question there. But he shouldn't be underestimated. He's someone who works over time. Yeah, he's an interesting character, no question. I like the fact that he states that Aragi and him are like, he said like fire and water in the beginning, but then changes over to Rubicum, I think it was, and water. So in the end, they don't fit with each other at all. They are a bit like opposites. And the sisters are the fire that will just possibly be a problem. And if they're together, they are not just fire, they are, yeah. The end of the world, possibly. He very aggressively, in my opinion, or very often, tried to down Senjougaharas, saying that she's not interesting anymore at all. And he repeated that very often. So for him, she was interesting because of the curse that was on her. I mean, it made her unique, no question there. It changed her from what a normal human being was. So I can see that. Thus, he is mainly interested in the supernatural. Sure, she was more interesting for him. But he doesn't care about what people think, what he says. So he's hurting her with saying that. And I ask myself, why? Because what does he have from it when he insults her? Senjougaharas herself, however, stated, and that's another interesting one, that she's not an ally of justice like the sisters are, but she's just an enemy of evil. Very fittingly, if you have people who are neutral in many roleplay systems, as example, they are not in for justice. They just don't want to have evil around them because it's ruining their fun. Like Aragi is here. And Senjougaharas stands up against Kaiki in the moment when... So she didn't say anything to the thing, you became boring, stuff like that, you know? Because it is a change from the past. But when he says about that right now, she doesn't look good, like you become a bit fatter and whatever. That's when she stops him, because that is insulting her now. And insulting in this case Aragi, because he says Aragi loves something that is not nice. And by doing so, she informed Kaiki that they are a couple. I'm not sure if that was clever. I'm really surprised that he didn't realize, but I mean, he seems very perceptive in many other ways. But thus he didn't realize giving him this information might be a problem in the future, because he is someone, in my opinion, who works with informations. So he now learns something new, and he will be able to use it if needed. He talked about her past a little bit, so we learned a little bit about Senjougaharas' past, that there was someone who tried to do something to her, who is now dead, and he died without any connection to her, not in any place even remotely connected to her, and just by accident. I am not sure here. This might be that he just wanted to show to her that things just happen, you know, like he just died and no one cared, like this. You don't have to go after your past always. But it might be as well that he wanted to, like, I'm not sure, just guessing, that he wanted to give her a hint that he kind of made this happen. Not sure, however, because why would he, you know? He didn't get any money for that. I mean, he conned money out of them for her problems, so maybe that is like, it was one of her problems. I'm not sure. He stated that she loved him. That is an interesting one. So at least in his opinion, she did love him. She tries to calm that down, saying later on that it was not really love, it was more like a liking. She had a liking to him because he wanted to help, or she thought he wanted to help. And yes, I can see her saying, whoever would have rescued me might be the one that I would have fallen in love with. Right? Can see that, because it was really a burden on her. It makes it interesting. It moves Kaiki in the storyline with Aragi from just a stranger who does evil things to people and kind of attacked one of his sisters, to even a rival for Senjougahara. One that she's definitely over with. I mean, she was very clear about that. But he was... It's always a thing of, he was first, you know? Nothing else happened there. But he was the one that she had maybe feelings for, at least a bit. So it's always something there. So she toned that down. There was not so much, and I think I can believe that. For Kaiki, the way that he acts and he is, it might very well be that she was the only one who ever had any feelings for him. However, being a con man that he is, he can possibly make people love him if he wants to. So what? She says, however, in the end, that she just settled her past. That is a big thing. We all have things in our past that we would like to have settled, that we would like to be closed and put away, so that we don't think about it so often anymore. So having something like this is a really good thing. And I'm happy for Senjougahara that she got that. And then she went into, Kaiki left, she broke his phone, just to make it clear. And when they were alone, Aragi and her, she went into aggressive mode. Like, okay, you forgot to compliment me since a while now. You're a boyfriend, you have to do stuff. Go for it. And she... that was strange. She was aggressively moving towards him, and I really like this move. In the end, then, just in front of the wall, what there was there, she took him and turned so that it looked as though he was pressing her against the wall. This typical boy presses girl against the wall to kiss her moment. So she is definitely taking what she wants, and he's just being following. He's just taken. It still shows us a lot about their relationship. I like it. I really like her drive in many ways. And yeah, they didn't show the night or anything about it. They made it, in my opinion, pretty clear that there would be like possibly the first time the two of them were intimate with each other. And by the way that she said that he has to be gentle, I guess it was her first time. So I really like that they just skipped over it. There was no need to show any of it. Because interestingly enough, when it comes to creepiness, to weird moments, they show quite a lot. But when it comes to real intimacy, to something really happening, they're not showing it at all. So that's an interesting concept. Yeah, that's more near the end of this episode. We had, in the end, we had the Fire Sisters being happy and joyful, and Karen was fine again. And you could see that the two of them are very close in very, very many ways. And they went out, and Aragi, was looking after them. And he, once again, and I really like that as the end for this episode, for this chapter even, my pride and joy. So he is in a good mood, no question there. But he talks about his sisters as his pride and joy. And they are lit like fireworks, so they are burning. There we are again. The fire concept of those two. So that was cool. I really liked it. It gave us a little bit background about the family, his sisters mainly. We learned a bit more about Senjougaharas. We got a next step in the relationship between Senjougaharas and Aragi, which is good. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to what the next chapter is about, the next episodes. I guess it's like one storyline that's coming now called Phoenix, if I'm right. Thus, this is about fire. I guess it might be about the other sister, but that is just a guess. So we will see. I hope you liked. I did for sure. If you want to, you are very welcome. If you understood the idea of why he calls his sisters fake, because I'm not really sure about that one. And I will see you the next time. Until then, please enjoy and subscribe, comment, and like whatever you want to. And I will see you next time. My name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.